12 people have been killed in a collision between a minibus and a bakkie on the N2 outside Dutywa in the Eastern Cape. Now, authorities say 3 other people were injured in the crash which happened last night. They say 8 of the deceased were in the minibus and 3 in the bakkie. More than 80 people have died on Eastern Cape roads since the start of the festive season. Eastern Cape Transport Department spokesperson Unathi Binqose joins us live now for an update. Mr. Binqose, thank you so much for your time. So this actually happens, just after 2 crashes also happened yesterday in the Eastern Cape. What more can you tell us about this tragic incident?
This latest accident has now taken the number of fatalities to 22 in the province from the past 24 hours. Very, very disturbing, very disheartening. And what we're seeing is that most of them are head-on collisions. Head-on collisions are still a story that one of the 2 drivers was on the wrong side of the road when the crash happened. And it's usually down to an error of judgment from the driver that leads to these fatal crashes. And unfortunately, here we are now talking about 12 people having died in that accident. It's 11 people that died on the scene, and sadly a female later succumbed to her injuries and passed on in hospital, taking the number of fatalities to 12 in this particular crash and 22 overall from the past 24 hours.
And Mr. Binqose, I know that this also happens on a road that has previously been described as the most dangerous road. What are preliminary investigations pointing to? What is the cause of this accident?
It's a very puzzling call, that one, but I understand why it's flagged as one of the most dangerous in the country. It's because of what we are reporting about right now, the number of fatalities that we've seen on that stretch of the road. I mean, only Monday last week, we were talking about another head-on collision that claimed a total of 4 lives on that very same stretch. But when we look at the stretch itself, I mean, it's a national road, one of those that are fairly well maintained, and it's as straight as a ruler in some areas with no clear obstructions. However, we continue to see head-on collisions continuing to take place on that stretch of the road. And we are urging road users, motorists in particular, to be extra vigilant and be patient with one another, because head-on collisions are among those collisions that we believe can easily be avoided only if we can play by the rules. And of course, be a bit more understanding to other road users, understanding that our lives are on our hands, and so are the lives of other fellow road users. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. We have reinforced in terms of the visibility of traffic law enforcement. However, there's a greater responsibility on you and I as drivers, because we can deploy as many traffic officers there as we can. But the greater responsibility lies with the man or the woman behind the wheel, because those are the ever-present in any crash that we've seen in the province and all across the country.
And have the victims been identified and their families been notified at this stage?
The accident happened at around 8 o'clock last night. It was wet and very slippery in the Eastern Cape. That may have been another contributing factor. Of course, we've towed the vehicles and we'll take a closer look at them. They may have a story to tell on their possible contribution towards the crash itself. The process of identifying has started last night already, and it is continuing in earnest today. And of course, we'll have to provide some psychological support to the families of the deceased. But most importantly, we need to extend that kind of a service to our rapid response teams, particularly traffic law enforcement officers and the emergency medical personnel and all the rapid response teams that are the first to arrive at the scene and are subjected to these gory scenes that we often see, and those can have a psychological impact on them as well. So their psychological well-being has got to be taken care of as well.
It's devastating indeed. And Mr. Binqose, I'd assume right now there is a need, and that need is to drive the message of road safety to every road user, particularly during this time. What would you say to road users?
As I'm talking to you right now, Mr. Masango, there may be people who are busy packing up their bags, getting ready to hit the road. We are grateful for these platforms because we get to extend our voices and reach as wide an audience as possible. We are urging you. We may be sitting at home watching this broadcast right now. It is in your hands. What we are asking for, extra vigilance, patience, reducing speed, playing within the rules of the road, those are not impossible things that we're asking for. And we are asking for those things to save your life, the life of your passengers, and the lives of other road users. We are pleading with them, with you, to ensure that you arrive alive. Because the roads that are there are not, some have been termed killer roads, but they, in actual fact, they are not killer roads. Those are instruments that are meant to connect us with our families and our loved ones, and let us use them for that purpose and that purpose alone. The fact that we have survived, Mr. Masango, up to this point, having driven on these roads, it means that what we have been able to achieve in the past can still be achieved right now. So let us put all our effort in ensuring that we are safe on the roads at all times.